So here's a look at the stitch we're going to be crocheting today. Now this stitch is worked in odd multiples. To make the square, you're going to chain 31, and then we're going to work a 3-row repeat. So you're going to do your foundation row, 22 rows, and then your bind off. So beginning from a foundation row. If you don't know how to do this, just check out the links in the description box, and you can catch up with us. All right. So for row number 1, you are always going, well, for all of this, you're always going to skip this first vertical stitch. It's already on your hook. But beginning in, what is this? Vertical stitch number 2, we're going to cast on a Tunisian simple stitch. So insert your hook behind the front leg of the stitch. You're going to yarn over and pull up a loop. Next, you're going to skip the vertical stitch that follows. We're going to go to the one after, and we're going to Tunisian simple stitch. We're going to skip one, go to the next one, Tunisian simple stitch, and then just skip and Tunisian simple stitch all the way till you get to the end. At the end, you're going to Tunisian simple stitch and then cast on into the final stitch of the row. So it should look like this. So out of the 3 rows, any and all of your row 1 repeats are going to have a different return pass. So here's how it goes. I'm going to tell you, pay close attention to it, but you're going to see why here in a second. So first thing we're going to do is yarn over and pull through 1. And then we're going to yarn over and pull through 2. That's going to take us to this chain space. For the chain space, you're going to chain 1 and then yarn over and pull through 2. Chain 1, yarn over, pull through 2. Chain 1, yarn over, pull through 2. We're going to repeat this here one more time. And once you have just 2 loops on your hook like this, you're going to yarn over and pull through both of them. So that chain 1 is going to go into all of the stitches that we skipped. That way it gives us the same width that we need for our square. Otherwise it's going to end up pulling on our stitches. And that row, which would be, I have this upside down. Here you go. So that would be this row, would get pulled in tighter and it would not be square. It would just pull in through the sides. So, yep, that's why we do the chain. Okay, continuing on. So row number 2, we are going to knit stitch into this second vertical stitch of the row. So just knit stitch 1. You're going to cast on into this space. So it's not the chain, it's this little chain space down here. So cast on 1. Then you're going to knit stitch in the next one. Now, if you're looking at right here, it's got this top space and the bottom. Your vertical stitch is this one up here. This is the stitch from the previous row. So use this stitch right here, and you're going to knit stitch and then cast on into the next stitch of the row. And then we're going to knit stitch. And then if you are new to this Tunisian crochet stuff, you're going to insert your hook between the 2 legs of the vertical stitch and just go all the way to the back like this. Yarn over and pull up a loop. But, don't let your yarn slip off your hook. You just repeat the knit stitch and then cast on 1 in all of the stitches of the row. And then once you get to the final stitch, you're going to cast on 1, and there you go. This is going to be a regular return pass for this row, so we're just going to yarn over, pull through 1, and for the remaining loops on our hook, we're going to yarn over and pull through 2 until we are left with just 1 loop on our hook. So row number 3, we're going to work into the chain space between the vertical stitches. So you're not using the vertical stitches at all for this one. We're going to skip this first chain space and go into the next one. So between vertical stitches number 2 and number 3, you're going to insert your hook into this chain. You're going to yarn over and pull up a loop. And you're going to repeat this in the chain space between all of the vertical stitches. So again, we go into the next pair of vertical stitches. You're going to find the chain right between them. Insert your hook, yarn over, and pull up a loop. And then you just repeat. When you get to the end, which I'll try to cast these on really quickly, count your loops, because this one it's really easy to miss a chain space. I don't know why. It kept happening to me, but maybe it doesn't to you. But count your loops at the end of the row. Make sure that you have the same number of loops as the number of stitches that you cast on, or not cast on, the number of stitches that you chained at the beginning of your project. So if you're making the square, you should have 31 loops on your hook. If you are making any other project, the number of loops should match the number of stitches for your initial chain. Once you get to the end, you're going to cast on a loop using this chain space right here and then the final stitch of the row. So at the end, you're going to have to cast on 2 loops. So insert my hook into this stitch and cast on, and then into the final stitch. So there we go. And this one also has a regular return pass, so it's just yarn over, pull through 1, and then yarn over, pull through 2 until you are left with just the 1 loop on your hook. So those are the 3 rows you're going to repeat over and over again. You're going to end in a row 1 repeat, so cast on your row 1, work your return pass, and then you're going to work that bind off. Alright, so once you have completed your 22 rows, you're going to do your bind off row. This is going to come after a row 1 repeat. So the top of your fabric is going to look like this. So you'll have all of these spaces. Now this is no different than what we've been doing in the past. It's going to be a combination of casting on and then Tunisian simple stitch, and you're always going to close it as a single crochet. So beginning on that second vertical stitch of the row, you're going to insert your hook like this to get a Tunisian simple stitch. Once you have 2 loops on your hook, you're going to yarn over and pull through both of those loops to close as a single crochet. You're going to go into this next chain space, I guess, and you're just going to cast on a loop. Then you're going to yarn over and pull through 2. And then Tunisian simple stitch, yarn over, pull through 2, cast on into this chain space, yarn over, pull through 2, and that's it. You're going to repeat this in all of the stitches of the row until you get to the end, but I'll try to hurry up here and make this super fast so I don't have to turn off the camera, because otherwise I have to reset the mic and it's not fun. I don't know why it does that. Alright, so once you get to the end, you're going to chain 1, you're going to cut your yarn, pull your hook and the yarn out, and there you go. So this is what it's going to look like now that it's completed. So that's the bind off, and there it is.